Rob here at etrailer.com, and today you're going to be taking a look at the CURT Class III custom fit trailer hitch receiver on our 2015 Ford Explorer. So here's what our hitch is going to look like once we have it installed. It is going to sit right below the bumper, and that cross tube is going to be visible, but it's kind of at an angle, so the main thing we're going to see is that receiver tube sticking out. And since it's a Class 3, it's going to give us that 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube opening. We're going to have a really wide variety of options when it comes to accessories. Now, whatever you're going to be mounting, you're going to be using the hitch pin hole here on the side to mount it. It is going to accept a standard 5/8 pin and clip. Now, these are not included with the kit, but you can pick them up here at etrailer.com, along with some locking devices to make sure your accessories are secure. Now, obviously, if you are towing, you're going to need a spot to mount your safety chains. And our connection point is going to be a plate style, welded to the bottom of the receiver tube. And we'll have plenty of room to get most size hooks on or off, but if you have some really small safety loops, try to come in from the front, because as you can see, that large flange on the side will make it a little difficult to get those hooked on. Now, if you're looking for a hitch, you want to make sure it's up to the task no matter what we're going to be using it for. So as far as the weight rating goes, our hitch is going to have a 400-pound tongue weight, which is the maximum downward force of the receiver tube. It'd be great for some of those larger bike racks or really maximizing the capability of the cargo carriers that you use. Now, as far as the gross trailer weight rating goes, it's going to have a 4,000-pound rating. That's how much our hitch can pull, including the trailer and everything we have loaded on it. Now, the hitch is designed to work with weight distribution systems as well. The tongue weight's going to bump up to 500, and the gross trailer weight rating is going to bump up to 5,000. But with all those numbers in mind, you want to double check your Explorer's owner's manual, because you don't want to exceed the manufacturer's recommended weight. Now, one question we do get a lot about the hitch with the Explorers is if the hands-free liftgate is going to work or not. Now, it will work, but we are going to be limited to going to either side of the receiver tube. Obviously, if we kick right here, the sensor is not going to pick it up. So if we just come to the side, the left or right of the receiver tube, it'll still work. I'd like to give you a few measurements. These are going to help you whenever you're looking for accessories for your new hitch, like a ball mount, a bike rack, or even a cargo carrier. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the outermost edge of the bumper is right about 2.5 inches. Now, that measurement's going to help you when you're looking at folding accessories to make sure you have enough room and that they're not going to come in contact with the rear bumper. And from the ground to the inside top edge of the receiver tube opening, it's going to be right about 16.5 inches. Now, that'll help you when you're looking for a ball mount to make sure you can find the appropriate rise or drop to match up to your trailer. But now that you've seen what our hitch looks like and gone over some of the features, let's put it on together. To begin our installation, we'll come to the back of our Explorer, and we're going to need to lower our exhaust down. We're going to have a total of 3 isolators, one at the back of each muffler, and then if we move forward where our exhaust lies, we're going to have another one right there, right by the rear axle. Before we lower exhaust, I'm going to put a support strap up, that way it doesn't hang down too far or cause any damage. Just want to make sure you find a solid point on the frame or somewhere that's not going to move, and then I'll tighten the strap until we get those isolators loose. So it's definitely going to help if you take a little bit of spray lubricant and you spray it on the isolator and the metal hanger. It's just going to help it come off and slide off there easier. And at this point, you just take a pry bar or a long blade screwdriver. The main goal is just to slide that rubber piece off of the metal hanger. We'll repeat that for the other side and the other rubber isolator. And with both the mufflers loose and the hangers down, I'm going to go ahead and loosen that strap so we have a little bit more working room above the mufflers. Now, we need to remove the actual rubber isolator from the hanger that's still on the frame. If it's on the muffler, you want to pull it off too, though. There should be a little bit of spray lubricant still on there, but we should be able to just grab it, kind of work it off. And we're going to pull the other one off, the other muffler as well. Now, the hanger, we follow the hanger to the frame rail. We're going to have 2 bolts that are holding it in place. We want to pull both of those out. We have an 18mm socket, and loosen and remove them. And once we have it removed, we can set the hardware and the hanger aside, because neither of these are going to get reinstalled. But we are going to move over to the other side of the frame rail and remove the one from the other side as well. Since we removed the rubber isolator and the hanger off the vehicle, we're going to need to attach it to our hitch so we can put our exhaust back up. We're going to have these tabs on the side of our hitch here, and that's where we're going to be mounting it. So to start out, we want to grab one of the 7/16 bolts out of our kit. We'll slide a flat washer over the end of it, and we're going to slide our bolts all the way through the rubber isolator, and then just barely go through the hole, just enough to where we can take another flat washer, put it on the outside, and then we can grab the nylon hex nut and attach the end of it. And right now we just want to get it started so we can make sure that it's not going to cross thread and that we can get it in place correctly. Now I'm going to take an 11/16 socket and wrench, and I'm going to tighten this up just enough to where that isolator is going to be touching the hitch but not crushing that rubber. Still want to have a little bit of movement in there, and once we have it in place, we'll go and repeat the process on the other side. So if we look at our frame rail, right now we're on the passenger side. We're going to have those two weld nuts where we remove the hanger, and we're going to have two more on the other side where that tie-down hook was. Those are going to be our 4 mounting locations, but on the passenger side here, we're going to have another one, and it's the hole that's going to be very farthest back. We're going to put some hardware in place, so we'll grab our fish wire, take the coiled end, we'll grab a spacer block, we'll slide the spacer block over the coiled end, and you want to grab a carriage bolt out of your kit, and we're going to thread the bolt onto the end of the wire. And then once we have it threaded in place, one piece at a time, we're going to push it into the frame. And once everything's in, we'll pull the bolt down through the block till it's coming down through the frame. Now you can go ahead and leave the pull wire attached. That way we don't have to worry about pushing the bolt in when we put our hitch up. With an extra set of hands, we're going to lift our hitch up. You want to make sure you feed your pull wire down on the passenger side through the correct hole. We'll get our hitch lined up with everything. We're going to grab one of the hex bolts out of our kit. We'll follow it up with the conical tooth washer. There's going to be teeth on there. You want to make sure those are pointing up towards the hitch. And we're just going to get one piece of hardware loosely started. That way the hitch will support itself, and we can get the rest of the hardware in place. Once we have most of our hardware in place, we can remove the pull wire. And we're going to grab the 1/2-inch flange nut out of our kit, and we'll get it started on that carriage bolt dropping down through the frame. And you just want to be careful. You don't want to push it into the frame. Just take your time, and that nut should start on the bolt. Then you're going to come back with a 3/4-inch socket and snug up all the bolts and nuts. I'm going to come back with that same socket, but I'm going to torque all my hardware down to the specified amount in the instructions. You just want to make sure you go back and repeat that for any remaining hardware you have. We can go ahead and lift our exhaust back into position. Before you do, it's a good idea to spray down the hangers with a little bit of lubricant. Just makes it a lot easier for them to go back in place. So I'll spray some on the isolator, some on the hanger. And when you lift this, you want to kind of go towards one side farther than you need to. Bring the muffler towards the hanger, line it up, and we can push it in place. And we'll do the same thing, kind of shifting the exhaust to the side so we get the other one in. And with the last hanger in place, we can finally remove the support strap that we had up earlier. That'll finish up your look at the CURT Class III custom fit trailer hitch receiver on our 2015 Ford Explorer.